Okay, I think we're going to be working on some sound for just a minute. Sound a little bit like a robot, don't I? Well, apparently I've picked up a cold, so up here in my ear I feel like I sound like a bullfrog, so it's kind of interesting for us tonight. Well, I'm glad that you came out tonight for the class of 2027 Rising Senior Parent Information Night. This one hits kind of close to home. So this is about the 4th or 5th time I've done this, and I will have a student in this graduating class. So I will be saying my son's name at graduation next May, and I'm pretty excited about that, but also somewhat, I don't know, we'll see. But really and truly, what we want to do is equip you with the information that you need right now going into your senior year, because we do know that there are some costs associated with the senior year. We want to make sure that you have all of that information so that you can make whatever decisions that you need to make between now and next spring. Okay, so we're going to get started with what we believe our fundamental purpose is here at Southside High School, our mission, right? And that's to ensure high levels of academic and personal growth for all students. And so what we truly believe is if we're only touching on the academic piece with your student, we're failing them. We want to see them grow as individuals. We want to see them grow into young men and women that they've been created to be. And so working with you guys over the last 3 years and moving into their senior year, we're excited about what this group is going to do when they get ready to move on from here. So as we get ready to talk about tonight, our purpose here, what are some things that we're going to go over? So some of the expectations that we're going to have for the senior year. Different activities that seniors might be involved in that you're going to want to have information on. What are the financial obligations? And then plans for high school or post-high school, okay? So one of the things that we've found out, this is going to be my assistant principal over senior activities. This is Mr. Jeff Mosby. A couple of years ago, we assigned assistant principals to every grade level. We've since changed that a little bit. So everybody in here may have a little bit of a different assistant principal, and it's broken up by grade level. However, Mr. Mosby is responsible for all of our senior activities. You will get really good at communicating with him or having or receiving communication from him because he's really on top of things and getting information out. So graduation requirements, let's talk about that. So the class of 27 is going to be required to have 22 credits to graduate, okay? 4 of those have to come from math, 4 of those have to come from English language arts, 3 from science, and 3 from social studies. So those 14 core competencies and the others would be electives. Now, with regards to the state of Arkansas, a student could potentially use computer science as their 4th math, or they could use computer science as their 3rd science. They can't use it both ways, okay? For the class of 27, there's a new graduation requirement coming out. We've been working on this with these students since they joined us, and that's this 75 hours of community service requirement. Okay, how many of you are familiar with that? Raise your hand. Okay, so we've been meeting with students throughout the course of their time here with us, really trying to make sure that they don't lose sight of it. And really, when they started as freshmen, if they gained 15 hours then, and then 20 hours over the course of the next 3 years, they should be in pretty good shape. So as they close out their junior year, getting ready to move into their senior year, they should have about 55 hours already in the bank. Okay, if they don't, they're a little behind. Now, if students moved in from out of state, then those hours are prorated. So we expected, or the state of Arkansas expected freshmen to get 15 hours. But let's say they joined us as sophomores. Now they're only going to be required to have 60 hours to graduate. Does that make sense? There will be some waivers available on a very limited basis for students that are facing hardships, and we'll be walking through those process with students as we come, okay? Graduation day is already set, and that didn't change. Somehow we got the wrong presentation, guys. Excuse me. So you guys are probably wondering, what on earth is this guy talking about? There we go. That's the one I was looking for. That has the 75 hours of community service involved, okay? And there's your graduation day, May 13th, okay? That will be on a Thursday. Thursday, May 13th of 27 will be your graduation day, okay? And then the last thing, be involved. I'm going to show you a screen here in a second that's going to have a lot of information. And one of the things that we're learning is that students tend to not worry about things until the deadline really gets close. So we did our senior class picture yesterday. We had students coming to the office asking to borrow a cap and gown yesterday morning. It's a little bit late for that. We have to order those things ahead of time now. I think we got everybody fitted out. But when we start having some of these meetings, and I'll go over some Jostens information with you guys here in a few minutes, it's really important that students start ordering those caps and gowns to come in, or at least communicate with the office if they need to borrow one as early as possible. So all major activities will come to you in one location. You will get a message through email and text. And it's, how many of you get those ugly emails or ugly text messages? It's just a bunch of words. You're like, I really don't like to look at this. This is kind of ugly. I'm going to show you what the class of 26 message looks like, and we'll go over a few things so you'll be aware of it. But it's going to be very important for you. But all of these things are going to be events that seniors are going to need to be aware of. You'll get that message somewhere around August or early September. The reason that we would be a little bit delayed is some of the deadlines may be a little bit late coming to us. Like we already know when graduation's going to be, but we don't yet know when prom's going to be for next year. We don't yet know what the ordering deadline for Jostens will be yet next year. So that will happen then. And then you will get this as these events come up again and again and again. So as we get closer to these events, we will saturate your thread or your stream with communication so that we don't miss out. And your students are also getting these updates as well. All right, so this is going to be an example of that nasty looking little email that I talked to you about. So up here at the front, it starts talking about senior information. It's all going to have these links. So when you click on that, you're going to want to make sure that you enter all of that information. All right, we will also have Jostens come on campus in September, and then you see what the class of 26 order deadline was. And then you can order it through Jostens, or you can bring the form back to us. ACT work keys. How many of you have ever heard of ACT work keys? Raise your hand. Okay, so this is a standards-based career and tech ed test and assessment that students will take. What the state of Arkansas found is that diplomas don't mean the same thing across the state. So a diploma from Southside High School might mean something a little bit different from a diploma at Little Rock Central or a diploma from Texarkana High School. And so what the Department of Education came up with is this assessment that students can take, and colleges or employers could know when they come out, hey, you took the ACT work keys and you tested at a platinum level. So I am pretty clear that you have this set of skills, or a gold level, you have this set of skills, okay? So it's an assessment that we give to our seniors. The reason it lands in the senior year versus the sophomore or junior year, those other two classes are already assessed multiple times throughout the year. We want to kind of spread that out a little bit. Class pictures, okay? It's usually early or about mid-March. We want to make sure that all caps and gowns are in place by that time. We will also have individual senior pictures taken in their cap and gown because the newspaper typically does a spread in May, and we want to make sure we have all of that information. Also, we ask our seniors to turn in scholarship information, and they can do that through that link here. Additional information, we have a baccalaureate service here, and it's usually mid-April. Want to make sure that we get all that information collected from seniors. We also allow seniors, when they've determined what their next step is going to be, whether it be enrollment into a 2 or 4 year institution, or if they go into the military or a tech school, we'll have a picture taken, create a senior banner for them, and it's displayed in the wall or in the hallways. Your kids have probably seen those, and then whenever they graduate, they get to take those with them. It's a nice little thing that we do for seniors. We also have information for prom. One of the things we'll go over also is, here in a few minutes, is those financial obligations that you have to make sure that you have satisfied before you're eligible for prom, and then graduation day. Does anybody have any questions over what that looks like and when you're going to get that? Okay? And then as each of these events come closer, you're going to get that information again. Okay. What are the things that we want to make sure seniors are thinking through? What is next for them? Are they going to enroll, enlist, or employ? Are they moving straight into the workforce, or are they going to go on to a 2 or 4 year institution, or are they going to join the military service? Okay? They should be thinking about those things if they haven't already. One of the things we want students to understand if they're going to go on to a 2 or 4 year institution is those deadlines for applications. If students need financial support or financial assistance, some of those scholarship deadlines may be a bit earlier than the deadline to apply for college, but they're not going to give you that scholarship if you're not already admitted to the college. So make sure that you're aware of all of those deadlines and make sure your students are thinking through that and planning for it. Okay, so this is a really handy QR code for you. This will take you straight to the counselor's webpage. Lots of information that lives on this webpage. One of the things you're going to want to be aware of is scholarship information. So recently, Southside just had 2 students selected for the Coca-Cola Scholarship Program. Both of those ladies earned $20,000 that they'll have access to use over the next 10 years, okay? One student said the way she found that scholarship, she was just cruising through, kind of scrolling through the counselor's webpage and saw it and just decided to apply for it. It's not anything that she went looking for. It just jumped out to her. There's also additional information on the senior to-do list. I think that might be good information for students to take a look at. And this is also a place where students can request their transcripts. Okay, so financial obligations and credit recovery. We ask and we expect students to have any financial obligation, whether it be fees or outstanding debts to the school, taken care of before they're allowed to participate in any senior activities such as prom or graduation, okay? And it's one of those things that year over year, your students may be building up some different fees or charges at the elementary school or at the middle school, and then they move into their senior year, and then they get presented with this, wait a minute, how did we get to this place? Now, we've been communicating through our registrar's office generally each year, okay, how much students owe. Okay, so if they forget a lunch, we're not going to ask any student to go hungry. We will let them charge a lunch to their lunch account. And if they've done that repeatedly, then that charge kind of builds up. If they damage a textbook or damage a Chromebook, or let's say they sign up for an activity, maybe sign up for an AP exam and then don't take the test, that would be a $40 charge. So all of those things get assigned to their account, and that account follows them all the way through their school career. And then they get into their senior year, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I can't buy a prom ticket because I owe $50 for a textbook that was damaged at Ramsey? Yes, okay? So if you get those financial obligation emails that come out during the junior year, that's one of the reasons why we want you to have this information. Some students work throughout the summer. My kid will be working this summer. He's going to be earning some money. And if he needs to help take care of some of these obligations that he may owe, then that's going to be something that we want you guys to be able to plan for. Does that make sense? All right. This is the other thing. This is why it lands so heavily here in the senior year. Diplomas, transcripts, and education verification will be held up if students have outstanding debt. Okay? Meaning, I will still let you walk on May the 13th. You'll still be allowed to walk. I don't want you to miss out on that, but you will not get a diploma if that's the case. Does that make sense? Okay. Any questions on that? If you do have a question, I'll be here after the meeting tonight. We can talk through that. Okay. So now let's talk a little bit about Jostens and what they're going to provide, okay, or what you will need for graduation. The one thing that Southside High School requires is the cap and gown and tassel. Okay, that's all Southside High School requires. You have to have a cap, a gown, and a tassel. And I will tell you, in about 2021, our gowns changed color a little bit. It went more towards a Carolina blue versus a softer blue color. And so if you happen to be out here in our hallways, we've got our graduation pictures up in the hallways. You can actually see the change in those. And so if you have somebody that had a cap and gown before that and you want to borrow that, it will look a little different, and we're not going to let you use that. But you are welcome to borrow and use caps and gowns that do match our color situation, okay? All right. So September 26th is when Jostens Rep will be right here meeting with the senior class. They will get a packet. It will look like this. It will have all of the information that they need, okay? You can also take a look at some of that at jostens.com. During that meeting, they will go over all of these things, order deadlines, the different offerings. They'll talk about the cap and gown and those delivery dates. That's going to be very, very, very important. But the big thing that you have to know is this right here. What is required? The cap, gown, and tassel, and this year it was around $43. Now, I will tell you, the later it gets and the shipping tends to go up, then that price will tend to go up. So it's to your advantage to get in a little bit early, because then we can take advantage of some of the price breaks on that. Does that make sense to you? Okay. That right there is the biggest thing that students right now are kind of stressing out about, because graduation for them is May 15th and it's coming up. Now, Jocelyn's will also offer all sorts of other items that seniors can purchase. It is not required. The representative, when he's here in September, will go over all of this information with your students, and then you'll have access to that if they so choose. This is what our official school announcement looks like. Many students use that. Some students will go print their own through Shutterfly or whatever the case may be. You're welcome to do that. It's not a requirement that we have for you, but you can order that official announcement through Jocelyn's. Jocelyn's also offers a letter jacket. There again, it's not required, but students do have that available to them. Okay, that's the information I have for you with regards to leading into your senior year. If you had questions when you showed up today that I did not answer for you in this general information, I'll be down front as we get ready to go. You've got our phone number here for the office. We're here to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you very much, and have a good night.